Hi students, today we are going to a topic called demography. Now what is demography? Demography is defined as a scientific study of human population. In this scientific study, why it is so called as scientific study? Because we are looking into some phenomena that is happening in a particular population. Now what do you mean by that phenomena? That phenomena is where we are having 5 processes are there in that particular processes or in that demography. The processes are fertility, mortality, marriage, migration and social mobility. Fertility, of course, it is the birth rate, mortality is the death rate, marriage, migration and social mobility. These 5 processes are continuously at work within a population, determining what? The size of the population, the composition of the population and the distribution of the population. So that is why both are hand in hand. This phenomena, the processes should happen and the phenomena is there. Then the history of the world population from 1650 onwards suggests that there is a demographic cycle of 5 stages that is happening in a particular nation, which a nation passes through. So the first stage is what we call as high stationary stage. Now what do you mean by high stationary stage? Where the stage where the birth rate and death rate both are increasing, both are high. What happens when the birth rate and death rate both are high? It cancels each other and hence the population remains stable, stationary. So India was in this stage in 1920. The next stage is what we call as early expanding stage, where we can see that birth rate is having no change, but the death rate starts to decline. So if birth rate is having no change as that of previous one and the death rate is starting to decline, then it shows that the population is starting to increase. There is increase in the population. And that is why it's so called as early expanding stage. And the third stage is what we call as late expanding stage, where we can see that death rate with further declining, birth rate starts to decline. That is why 2 arrows shown, downward arrow shown for the death rate and one for the birth rate. Then what happens in this stage? In this particular stage, if birth is exceeding death, no. That means what happens? Death is further declining, birth rate starts to decline. So birth is exceeding death. So that what happens then? When the number of birth is exceeding the number of deaths, the population is increasing. So the population continues to increase. India is in this stage at present. The fourth stage is what we call as low stationary stage, where the birth rate and death rate both are low there. So the population is stationary there, or we call it as zero population. The stability of the population is attained. UK and Denmark is in this stage now. The last stage is what we call as, or the fifth stage is what we call as declining stage, where the birth rate is less than death rate, or we can say that the population is falling there, number of population is decreasing there, and Germany and Hungary is in this stage at present. Now the next is what we call the demographic trends in India. Now where we stand in the demography or in the world population. India is, as all know, the second most populous country in the world, with nearly a fifth of world's population, and the land area of India is 2.4% contributes to the world, and 17% to the world population. Every 17th person in the world we see is an Indian. That's the meaning of that. And when we look into the trend of the population in India from 1901 onwards, you can see that in 1901 it was 238 million. In 1911 it was 252 million, but in 1921 the population has decreased to 251 million, and that is why from there onwards the population has never decreased, it's keep on increasing, and that is why this 1921 is said to be the big divide in the Indian history. Then India's population is currently increasing at a rate of 16 million per year, with the growth rate in India at present is 1.13% according to 2020, and the birth rate is 18.2 births per thousand population, death rate is 7.3 deaths per thousand population, where we can see that the fertility rate is 2.35 children born per woman. And if our population continues to grow at this rate, by 2050 India's population will be 1.53 billion. there are certain indicators in demography which we need to look into, and that itself is divided into two. First one is what we call as population statistics, and the second is what we call as vital statistics. In the population statistics, we are having certain indicators like population size, population density, sex ratio, dependency ratio, and in vital statistics we are having birth rate, death rate, growth rate, life expectancy at birth, mortality and fertility rate. So we will go through the population statistics especially in this session. Vital statistics again we are having in the practical sessions. We will do some problems based on that. That time I will go in detail to this vital statistics. And what do you mean by age and sex composition? So before going to this age and sex composition, we will look into the proportion of the population. We can see that the proportion of the population of less than 14 years is declining, showing a declining trend in India, while that of proportion of elderly is showing an increasing trend in India. And this age-sex pyramid, otherwise it is called as population pyramid or age pyramid, is the composition of age-sex composition of the population of a particular country. So actually the population or this age-sex pyramid is drawn by taking the age group. We can see that in the middle the age group is there, on either sides the male and female populations are there, and this shows the age-sex pyramid can be considered as an indicator of to check whether the country is a developing country or a developed country. For a developing country, the age-sex pyramid will be like this. This is the age-sex pyramid of India according to 2011 census data. So where we can see that there is a broad base and tapering top. But for a developed country, the age-sex pyramid will be having a bulge in the middle and have a narrow base. Especially the typical example is the age-sex pyramid of Switzerland. And the next is what we call as sex ratio. What do you mean by sex ratio? Sex ratio is defined as the number of females per 1,000 males in population. The sex ratio of our country is always seem to be unfavorable for females, where we can see that our sex ratio in this table, we can see that from 1951 onwards our sex ratio was decreasing. The only hike we have seen from 2001 to 2011, where we can see that in 2001 the sex ratio is 933 females per 1,000 males, while that of 2011 it is 940 females per 1,000 males. In India it is 940, but in Kerala we can see that it's a state which is most favorable for the sex ratio, which is most favorable for females, where the females is more, 1084. The sex ratio is considered to be 1084 per females per 1,000 males, where that of UP we can see, in order to compare only I am telling UP's value, the sex ratio is 908 females per 1,000 males. So Kerala is 1084 females per 1,000 males. There are certain reasons of why this low sex ratio is there in India. The first one is strong male child preference, consequent gender inequality, neglect of girl child, female feticide, high maternal mortality rate, male bias in population enumeration. And there is one more factor, we call it as sex selective migration. It is considered to be the favorable sex ratio, considered to be a reason for favorable sex ratio in Kerala, where most of our males, some of our males have gone to Gulf countries for their livelihood, and that can be considered as one of the reasons of sex selective migration in Kerala, one of the reasons for the favorable sex ratio in Kerala. Then the next is what we call as dependency ratio. The proportion of the population above 65 years of age and children below 15 years of age are considered to be dependent on economically productive age group, which is we call as 15 to 64 years of age. So that is why this ratio, there is a ratio called total dependency ratio. So the ratio of the combined age group of 0 to 14 years plus 65 years and the above to 15 and above 65 years and above to the 15 to 65 years age group is referred to as total dependency ratio. And the total dependency ratio, that is why is again divided into two. The children of less than 15 years, or the age group of population of age group 0 to 14 years divided by economically productive age group 15 to 65 years is considered as young age dependency ratio, and old age dependency ratio is 65 years and above divided by economically productive age group of 15 to 65 years. And we can see that in 2010, the total dependency ratio in India was 47.9, while old age dependency ratio was 7.7. In world, the total dependency ratio was found to be in 2010 as 52.5, and in Asia it is found as 48. And it is expected that in 2030, the world will be having the total dependency ratio as 54.7 and Asia as 50.6. So, what is the indicator of this total dependency ratio in the population? As the ratio is higher, the burden that is caused for the economically productive age group is more. That means this, as the number of dependents is increasing, or the total dependency ratio is increasing, means what is increasing? The numerator is increasing. So since the numerator is, who is the numerator there? The dependent people are the numerator. Age group less than 15 years and above 65 years are there in the numerator in total dependency ratio. So when the total dependency ratio is increasing, means this dependent group is increasing, which is causing burden to the economically productive age group. So what is happening? The economical condition of the country will go down because of that. So that is why the total dependency ratio should be low always, which is favoring to the good economic condition in a country. Now again, there are certain terms in this where you will get for this substantiate or differentiate. We call that first term is what we call as demographic bonus. What do you mean by demographic bonus? The rapid decline in the dependency ratio, especially in the child dependency ratio. If the child dependency ratio is decreasing, then it shows that the fertility rate of that country is decreasing, and hence it shows that there is that is considered to be a good indicator for the economic development of the country, or it is a good indicator of the economic development, key factor underlying the rapid economic development of that particular country. And that is why it is so called as demographic bonus. And this can be possible only through the empowerment of the women in the country, giving good health for the country, people in the country, then education need to be given, then unemployment need to be avoided, and always specify for the small families, which is always possible only by the women empowerment. So this is what we call as demographic bonus. Demographic bonus means what? Then the young age dependency ratio is decreasing. When the young age dependency ratio is decreasing, means the fertility rate is decreasing. So that is why it is considered to be the key factor for the rapid economic development. The next is what we call as demographic burden. Demographic burden means it is considered as the increase in the total dependency ratio. What is happening if the total dependency ratio is increasing? Increase in the total dependency ratio, especially the old age dependency ratio. What happens when the old age dependency ratio is increasing? That means the population of above 65 years of age is increasing. When the population of above 65 years of age is increasing, what is happening? The population of old age is increasing. So that means it is causing an economic burden, health burden, especially the economic burden as well as the health burden of the system of the nation is increasing. That is why it is so called as demographic burden. So it's considered to be the increase in the dependency ratio, especially the old age dependency ratio. The next is what we call as family size. The family size can be defined as the total number of children that is born by a woman at a point in time during her childbearing age group or her reproductive age group of 15 to 45 years. Total fertility rate gives an idea of total family size. Then TFR in India, according to NFHS 3 data. What is NFHS? National Family Health Survey. The last one was NFHS 4 data. This data is NFHS 3 data, where we can have the total, where we have seen that the total fertility rate is 2.68. According to NFHS 4 data, the total fertility rate is 2.2, which is released in 2017. The total fertility rate was found to be 2.2. So which shows that the total fertility rate is decreasing in India. This family size is always depending on the factors like duration of marriage, education of the couple, number of live births, contraception methods, socio-economic status. And we can see that this family size is considered to be the definition, or the family size as such is considered to be an important factor for the demographic point of view in a particular country. How? Especially in India, we can see that our family planning campaign itself is on the theme of two-child no. What do you mean by two-child no? That means a family consisting of only two children. How we will check that it has attained? By looking into the NRR, the net reproduction rate. If net reproduction rate is equal to 1, then it shows that the country is going on two-child no. Now, what do you mean by NRR? NRR is considered as net reproduction rate is defined as the number of daughters a newborn child or newborn girl will bear during her lifetime, assuming fixed age-specific fertility and mortality rate. In 2015, the NRR, net reproduction rate in the country was 1.06. So we are assuming that we will attain it for soon. NRR of 1. The next is what we call as urbanization. Urbanization in 2000, according to 2011 data, India is having in rural population, the population was 833.1 million, and in urban it is 377.1 million, nearly a 3.35% increase in the urban population according to 2011 census data we can see. And what are the causes of this urbanization? Why the migration is happening? Because of better employment opportunity, better living standards, and better availability of social services like education, health, transport, entertainment, etc. The next indicator is what we call as literacy rate. Literacy. What do you mean by literacy? When we will tell that a person is literate? A person is deemed as a literate if he or she can read and write with understanding in any language. Any language, if she can read or write, then only we call that person as literate. If the person can read only, then it is not considered as a literate person, or it is not considered as a definition of literate. And we can see that highest literacy rate in India is for Kerala, where we can see the literacy rate in Kerala is 93.91. And in India, the total literacy rate in India, according to 2011 census data, is 74.04. And for males, it is 82.14, and females, it is 65.46. While that of UP, it is 69.72. For males, it is 79.24, and for females, it is 59.26 only. For Bihar, we have seen that the literacy rate of females is very low, which is 53.33. For males, it is 73.39, and for the total one in Bihar is 63.82. Kerala is having literacy rate of 93.91 with males 96.02 and females 91.98. So all these indicators you need to study, at least you need to do the comparison when the question comes for substantiate. The next is what we call as life expectancy. What do you mean by life expectancy? Life expectancy is defined as, or the expectation of life is, at a given age is the average number of years which a person of that age may expect to live according to the mortality pattern prevalent in that country. And very interesting thing of life expectancy at birth is it is continued to increase globally over the years. 1950 to 55 years, 1950 to 55, we can see that the life expectancy of both sexes was 46.5 years. After in 2008, we can see that it is 69 years. And in India, the life expectancy according to 2011 census data is 67.13. And the trends in the life expectancy shows that the people are living longer and they have right to a long life in good health rather than one of the pain and disability. So these are the indicators of demography. Some are from population and statistics, and some are from vital statistics. The vital statistics part we will deal with it again when you come for the practical classes. Actually, I combined the two classes of today's and tomorrow's, which you can go through, and the assignment I will be given soon. Thank you.